I said, give me a hell yeah.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Wyatt mouth lighted? I don't know. Two-time, beast slaying, stratus-fine episode of your favorite brothers doing what they do best, and that's discussing. We're going to cover everything, man. This is a huge week. We're going to cover everything from Sasha Banks' polarizing return to the greatest takeover ever again. The greatest one since the last one, in our opinion.
I wanted to do the what's the song for
we're also gonna.
Okay, just keep going. I'm sorry.
We are not your NXT. And how about real quick? How many people tweeted about Johnny Wrestling's great ring attire for Wolverine, and he had the best tweet about it. Weapon NXT, secret weapon.
Yeah, I like
Weapon
that.
X.
I thought that was pretty good.
And also, anyway, Sasha Banks. We're going to cover the greatest takeover again, which just means that every takeover seems like it's better than the last. And we got to talk about Bray Wyatt capturing the imaginations of wrestling fans everywhere. And Matt, we got to give some kudos to WWE Creative, earning some major respect this week. Much more. Matt's got a brand new game for us, where I got to figure out, I think, somebody based on a character name. If they're from Glow, like the real Glow the TV show, or if they're a superhero.
You're supposed.
What a mouthful!
You got to read it because it rhymes. You have to go. The new game called
Glow or
superhero. Like,
yeah. Nothing like a little alliteration.
Yeah.
Matt, how are you?
I am doing great. Well, except for the wasp nest I just found in my backyard, but I'm doing pretty hot. This week has been great. We just went over our stats for the show. And even though one guy listened to 15 episodes, he didn't listen to the same episode 15 times.
So it still counts.
Right. Because our other episodes blew up this week. So we got to thank all the Brothers of Discussion faithful for continuing to share us. And of course, huge fun night on social media with everybody. On at BOD Podcast. I mean, the whole weekend, but SummerSlam was great. Monday Night Raw, it felt like everything we were sharing on Monday was blowing up, so we appreciate you guys for keeping track of what we were posting on Monday. Tuesday never really goes well, but thank you.
What
Sunday
Tuesday?
and Monday.
Come on, guys. All right.
But yeah, you could find
tweeting about NXT UK to myself. I was liking my own tweets. Get out there and like those tweets. Come on.
Get out there and help the Brothers of Discussion grow. But if you want to help us grow, grow. Yeah, I keep thinking glow, so I think I'm saying it wrong.
Grow, glow, and superhero. Matt, where can they find us?
At BOD Podcast. You can find us. Our website is bodpodcast.com or brothersofdiscussion.com. And please, we have pretty much stopped posting on our Facebook business page, except for when new episodes go out. But we have our new Facebook group where we're going to go through live wrestling discussions. So we put the notation on there for some spoilers. But please join us on there. That is where we are probably getting the most interactive conversations, because it's not just from us. It's from all of you, the Brothers of Discussion faithful. So again, thank you, everybody, for listening this week, the past couple weeks to our episodes that were mainly focused on some huge topics we're gonna go a little bit deeper into today, including the Fiend. But I think that'll be number 2 on the list if we want to. If you want to take over, Mike.
No, just a quick shout out. Andre C. He's been money as usual. Chris B and Chris M. We know we love joshing you guys about AEW, but we love your contributions. And Amy D has been rocking it out. And also, I don't think we've ever dropped this name. It's Andrew S. He's been pretty hot on the Facebook group, so thank you, all you guys, because your contributions just get everybody going. Love it. But yeah, we can dive right into the content, Matt, if you're ready. Because we don't get to say this very often, Matt. WWE Creative hit a home run this weekend.
Nice.
A lot of angles, a lot of feuds, a lot of matches to talk about, but I think there's a lot of speculation about what the heck are they going to do with Bray Wyatt. Yes, vignettes are successful, but that's a whole different animal to the live performance. And Matt, I think you're totally going to agree. They knocked it out of the park. Um, Bray came out, his entrance. I think one of my favorite things was the pop when the lyrics started for that song, and it was still an allusion to his old song. The catching flies in his mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had the lyrical callbacks to the original. Obviously, the show stealer was that lamp designed to look like Bray's head.
Oh man, what was your reaction when you first saw it? Because I know I kind of saw it. Like you could kind of tell what it was when like the lamp first hit, like the screen. You know what I mean? Like it was still super blurry. It was very dark. But I felt like I saw it and I was still trying to figure out what the hell I was looking at. But man, when they did that close up, oh my god, I popped for that.
It was stunning stuff. I think whoever wrote that character, A plus. Whoever designed that lamp, A plus. But also that production value, because they shot it like a horror movie, where you kind of like the money shot in a horror movie, where you kind of get glimpses before you get a full on view of what it is. And then, so you kind of got glimpses. You're like, oh my God, that's not somebody's head, is it? And then sure enough, you get the teases with the strobe lights up the ramp, and then he gets to the ring, and by God, Bray's carrying his own head with a light in it. I think I was speechless. I think there was things that you wanted to talk about on Twitter, but all you wanted to do was share emojis with the mouths hanging open because you didn't know how to react.
No, it was great because what I tweeted out was a picture of the lamp, and then I said, "This is all of our reaction right now," because that was all of our faces. We just didn't have a light coming out of our mouths, but we were all mouth agape.
What, man? I know that they had direct influence from Tom Savini and his Makeup Academy to get all this stuff together, but I haven't seen anything yet. I would want to see what kind of like horror movie producers they talked to, because I don't think it was an accident that thing looked gorgeous, like from the lens to us sitting at home. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say this, and this probably isn't what anybody's super interested in, but I work for, and we shared some photos from Multimedia Makeup Academy. And of course, a quick shout out, if you guys saw the mask that was made for me, made by Sammy Maskill. She is at ms.sammymaskill on Instagram. You guys can go check her out. And of course, let us know if you want one of those masks, because she said she's ready to start making a bunch of them. So a little bit cheaper than what the WWE shop is selling them for. And of course, a little bit more of a personal touch. But any hoozles, so my contacts at the Makeup Academy, they're not huge fans of Tom Savini, Mike. Huh. So the go around is that he uses his students kind of thing, and then even this this idea of the mask being made with Tom Savini, I found out that he was really just there for like a photo shoot, and then he made the quick exit, and somebody else is the artist behind this beautiful mask, probably the artist behind the lamp. Super disappointing, because I know we've been huge fans of Tom Savini for a very long time. Probably since
it sounds like he's taking the Edison approach.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
He's got the lab and then takes all the credit for the brains.
Yep. Yeah, we don't want to completely bury Tom because nobody really knows the story, but from the people that are in the industry making these works of art themselves, that's what I've been told. So, we'll see. But I just had to get that off my chest because I was so excited to talk about Tom Savini a week ago, writing blogs, and then of course my coworkers let me in on that little, I don't know, rumor, secret, I don't know, but it's still beautiful work.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's all for the entrance too. The music was really good, the lighting was really good, and then we get to the match, and I think that was the part where we were like, oh boy, what's this gonna look like? Like, we know that Kane, for example, his mask evolved over the years, right? And most of that was because of it would kind of slide up and down his face. It would get sweaty. It was hard for him to see.
Yeah.
But I think Bray looked like Bray. Like it looked like he had the new wrinkles to his repertoire, but he didn't look like he was stumbling at all.
Well, one thing I'd throw out there too, if you remember seeing him for the first time in that mask compared to now, that mask is tightly wrapped around his head. I would put out I would suggest that maybe they made an adjustment, and Bray wanted this to be perfect. So after that first go around where we finally got to see the Fiend compared to now, I think it really was like, yeah, SummerSlam's a huge show. It's a great time to put out the Fiend, but I think we've been watching Firefly Funhouse since May, right? Or April. So like I think that this just goes to the idea that, they're really taking their time with this, and this is really important to them. It's really special, because if they wanted to push this out and force it, I think they would have had Bray fight, without the mask. But they took their time and they waited, and they got this whole idea, this persona, not just from a character storyline aspect, but the visual aspect is now, you can make the argument, is perfected at this point. So I think that's really good news for WWE fans, pro wrestling fans going forward, because if they're taking a guy like Bray Wyatt, who we've seen lose for years, but they're going to be patient and they're going to do it right, this could bode well for a lot of the characters going forward.
Yeah, I want to mention a couple things. In the match, we saw him bust out the mandible claw. That was how he finished off Finn.
Well, I think we all have our new favorite move, the neck snap. The murder of Finn Balor.
Like, the lamp scared me, but the neck breaking spot, like,
oh my god,
after all the flack WWE got for the curb stomp with Seth Rollins, I was like, well, that's down the toilet, I guess, because there's a broken neck spot, like a classic, like James Bond, breaking the necks of the henchmen.
Yep.
Oh yeah, like going up and down the line and yeah. I saw some people kind of, flapping their jibs about, how come Finn got to put in more offense, but I like that. Because I think it was by design that, Bray was supposed to have this hurt heel match. So he would hurt Finn, and then he allowed Finn to kind of get some offense in. That looked like the heel moment when the glove came up. So I thought that was by design. I couldn't find. There's nothing to nitpick about this. This was pretty perfect. Matt, let me ask you a hot take question about this. We had a very slow, because you mentioned it. They've been doing this since about April or May, just dropping hints about this Firefly Funhouse gimmick, right? And it's been a super slow build, which is not WWE's MO. They like to, tease it, and once, just start filling your eyeballs with it because they put money into it. Let's get the investment out there. Do you think, I guess it's kind of a two-part question, Matt. Do you think that they're going to keep going with this slow burn? And at this point, is that what's best for business? Stopped.
I think Monday gave us a lot of answers because we did not see Bray. Or you know what? We're 2 days. We're on Wednesday, Mike. We had SmackDown too. Yep. There's no Fiend. I think that was a great move because I wanted it so bad. I wanted it to open the show.
Yep.
But now I think because they did that, now we get to watch the next few weeks wondering when he is going to come back out. What's that next storyline going to be? And I just like the anticipation that's being built up because that's the way pro wrestling should work. Like, think about how many times we had to watch Shane McMahon every week. Of course, we're gonna get so bored of that, man. But to handle the Fiend this way is just. I think that's the plan to answer your question is to go slow with this and have it mean something. And that's evidenced by after it exploding on social media, seeing him nowhere near Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. But then it feels right. It feels like the thing you should do at this point. I think the interesting conversation is what should happen next. Because I have a theory, Mike, of who the Fiend should feud with going forward. It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific person.
Right.
But what I really like is this idea of these guys that were huge in like NXT, or like they were huge at one point in the WWE, and then all of that fizzled out.
Mm.
And that's what we saw with really the Fiend's characters, what, you know, I really feel like this is all built from. And then that's kind of what we're seeing with Finn. So he did get the Royal Rumble match against Brock Lesnar, but I mean, there was no way he was going to win that.
Right.
And now, how long is it going to be till he gets another Universal title shot, like a realistic one where we could actually think he could win? That being said, Mike, I feel like a guy that could kind of fit that same mold, and then we're also kind of going yay or nay in regards to like we still have like this is the Fiend a face or a heel? I think it still stays in a gray area, but somebody like Nakamura, I think would be fun. You've got I mean, that's the problem, is it might not be Nakamura because he's got the title right now.
Right.
And I don't think the Fiend needs to chase after titles. Kind of the same thing we used to talk about with Aleister Black. Him chasing a title is not what Aleister Black does. Let me actually jump on that too, and I want to get your thoughts, because I feel like a lot of people feel this is the best way to go. Why would he ever fight Aleister Black in his second feud? Two guys that need to be built up. Knocking down one of them is not helping anything when you have rosters that need to be built up and new guys that need to take over.
Aleister Black?
That's what's all over Twitter. It was on SmackDown while Aleister wasn't doing anything. It's kind of... I think it's just this easy thing that people make this connection because they both have dark characters. Mm. And they just can't get past that. Like, where to the point where that should be more or less like a huge feud.
I think
huge for both characters.
Yeah, that would be a terrible idea.
Thank you.
Remember the Miz talking about I think AJ and Daniel, before there was really a face heel dynamic. He's talking about how boring it is to have like a gentleman's contest. Yeah. It would be like that, but with two demonic guys who just want to fight like a monster. So it feels like it would be a different version of that. I think you would need somebody a little squeakier. I think you would need somebody like a Ricochet. It's just that how many more losses are they going to pile onto poor Ricochet before he actually does something of substance on the main roster? But I think I don't need to know who the next feud's going to be. I think you're right on that. I think what this does is it makes Mondays and Tuesdays exciting, because now you just want to tune in and see if you get a little nugget, about the future of the Fiend, about the future of Bray Wyatt. So you're not. It always feels like Raw and SmackDown. You're gonna do the musical chairs, like now it's 8:00 on Monday, so we're gonna get a Seth segment. Now it's 8:06, so we're gonna get a McMahon in there. Like you got to get everybody gets a turn. But this adds like a real level of intrigue for me, because it feels like old school booking where you're not going to see everybody every week, and you're tuning in to see what treat you're going to get. And I think Bray is that for the audience. So
well, I hope we're both right, because I would like to see like something deeper, because we've been asking for deeper storytelling. So even if it's subtle, but if Bray continues to go after the characters like I mentioned, the ones that have kind of fizzled out, and then that'll give them an opportunity to rise again, kind of thing, which I think we're going to get from Finn Balor too.
Right.
He sends everybody on vacation. I think that would be a fun dynamic. But yeah, there's definitely, like, for this to work, we gotta avoid overexposure. Like, we can't have me taking screenshots and then I, by the end of the fall, I have 1,000 different pictures of the Fiend taking out different people, because he just comes out every match to to destroy another super. Like, I have confidence that they're not going to do that. But it's still, you'd be crazy not to be scared of it.
Yeah, I can see him feuding with, kind of piggybacking off that somebody established, but who doesn't need wins. That's kind of where Ballard came from. Um, I don't think Ali is strong enough to really sell it emotionally, but I think it would be cool to see him against like a Ziggler or like a Randy Orton.
Yeah, Ziggler does seem like a good idea, especially like with where he's at right now.
Yeah.
And we can pivot into that too if you want. But him getting squashed by Goldberg, as you put it, then destroyed very quickly by the Miz, which even that was kind of I thought maybe because they were doing so many lead-ins to it and building it up over the week that even after he fights Goldberg, he's got the Miz on Monday. But that one was pretty quick. But give Ziggler like that vacation, or if he really is leaving the company, like the rumors are going back and forth on whether or not he has been granted his release or that they're telling him he can't leave, which I think is hilarious. But have the Fiend take him out. Perfect.
Yeah, I could use a few days off. If the Fiend wants to come over and feud with me, I wouldn't mind. Come to the office and give me the mandible claw and put me out of commission. I'm happy to be in a hospital bed for a few days. Yeah, but with Ziggler,
let's jump into Zig.
Yeah, he has this weird new. I guess it seems like it's a new gimmick where he gets beat up and loses, and then he gets pinned, and then he gets on a microphone and says, merely a flesh wound, and we get to cue up the Monty Python gifs. I think, Matt, my favorite part of this is it took 3 spears to silence Ziggler, but it only took 1 skull-crushing finale.
Yeah, good on Ziggler to sell it that way, too.
Yeah. No, but here's what I want you to touch on. Ready? Some of the talking heads, Bubba Ray, said that this was Goldberg's redemption match after the Undertaker debacle. Matt?
Yeah.
Was that statement make you grind your molars like it did for me?
Well, here's the thing. When we were going through our predictions last week, I think this is part of the story we talked about. I just don't know about the word choice. I don't like the word redemption, but this totally was booked so that Goldberg if this is his last match, that's the last thing we see is him destroying Ziggler, because I don't think they want people going through the network and searching Goldberg and then forever the last thing is that Undertaker match.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Goldberg went into the Connecticut offices and said, or I guess the New York offices, and said, I'm coming back. I can't let that be my last match. I need something else. And then they looked around the room and said, Ziggler, get over here. But yeah, I mean, if somebody told me that was the truth, no matter the way you got to the end of it, that they were just trying to make sure Goldberg didn't have a shitty last match, that's what we talked about last week. It's just redemption.
Yeah.
No, that's wrestlers patting each other. Yeah, that's wrestlers patting each other on the back. That's having to read Chris Jericho tweets about how great Goldberg is and him continuing to say, I swear I'm not joking. It's like, God damn,
man.
Like, nobody has ever believed that he was a great wrestler. He was just a fun story. Let's get over ourselves.
Because I think there's 2 things to look at. One is the metrics, okay? So Goldberg matches are traditionally about 5 to 10 minutes long because he doesn't know how to fight.
Yep.
Doesn't have any offense. He cannot hit myself. We've said it 1,000 times.
Yep.
So I think there's 2 ways to look at it. The metrics are awful. The other way is the eyeball test. He does a spear and a jackhammer. Now, can I do a really scary-looking spear and jackhammer? No. Do I have the physique of Goldberg? No. But he's not a good wrestler. I'm sorry. You can't call yourself a good wrestler if you have 5 moves. He's a hell of an entertainer, right? That's one part of it, but it's like when we try to like compare him to Velveteen Dream, okay? So when you're a wrestler, there's the look, there's like the moveset, your ability to be on the mic. Goldberg, honestly, I think a lot of people try to come off as intense. I think he's legitimately intense. So I'll grade him well on the microphone. I think he's got the look. He's a big dude, 300 pounds, all muscle.
A big man.
A
big man.
A little Patrick Star there for you, folks. And
Yep.
the other part
he's made the rounds twice in 2 days.
He is. He's coming back.
All right.
But yeah, the moveset is critical to me saying, right. Man, what a great wrestler. And it's not there. Objectively, it's not there. It's not an opinion. The people coming to his aid, like the Bookers, the Jerichos, those are guys who actually have a moveset. You know what I mean? Who can go 20 minutes in a championship match. Goldberg doesn't have it. He's got the other two stuff in spades. I'll give you that. But he does not know how to wrestle.
I mean, it's just, if you look at what Matt Riddle said, does he have a legitimate gripe? Of course he does. So why are we giving Matt Riddle a hard time?
I don't know.
Why is Goldberg owed this?
Why is that the hill we're gonna die on? It's the Goldberg hill. Ugh. And I can't believe I'm dying on a Matt Riddle hill. What the hell's going on in the world?
Well, I mean, I'll die on a Ziggler hill because I've got 4 T-shirts.
Oh no!
I'm gonna have to buy that new one that he was sporting.
Bro, on
Monday.
Did you order a new one for the buy one get one $1?
It was just because Ziggler was wearing the
the Kabuki Warriors. Yeah,
the Kabuki Warriors T-shirt. I like how when he came out there for the promo too. Just a little aside here. He was like covering up his chest the whole time.
Oh wait, no, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it right away, Zig. There's no point. You're taking off that coat to wrestle in a second.
Yeah, let's enough Ziggler. Real quick, just as far as people selling like a motherfucker. Trish Stratus came back, off the bench. She's been on the legend bench for a while, and it's SummerSlam. We gotta juice it up a little bit. Let's juice up that card. Get some part timers in there.
She's a Toronto girl.
Yeah. I liked they were singing "Oh Canada" during her match. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it started off a little clumsy because she's getting the ring rust off, but by the end it was one of the better last 10 minutes of a women's match I've ever seen. As far as making the offense look brutal on both ends, Trish, she sold some of those Charlotte kicks like they were gunshots. I was thoroughly entertained by Trish. I thought she did a great job.
I mean, I will say for Sunday night, for being on, it was great. Super low stakes.
Yeah.
Charlotte, who gets overbooked. I just probably won't go back to check this out. I saw some of your tweets. You were pretty stoked at when she bridged the figure 4. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She doesn't hold as special of a place in my heart, I guess, as guys like Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre do. When I'm looking for big tits, Mike, I want to make sure that there's hair all over them. And they're on a 6'8" mitt. No, I'm just kidding.
Woo! Here we go.
It's
finally coming out. Here in episode 92. All right.
Yep.
Got a baby on the way, and Matt's got some stuff he wants to talk about. Here we go. No, you know
Drew
what?
McIntyre.
I think just because it was a legend coming back who didn't embarrass herself, so that's one good thing.
Well, is there somebody else that deserved this rub?
Wait.
Or was this more or less, we have to do it with Charlotte because she can make Trish look better at her advanced age?
Charlotte, she's one of the best in the biz, so I'm glad they got together, and I'm not going to nitpick having, 1, 2... Did we have 4 women's matches at SummerSlam? We had 3 one-on-one matches, and then the pre-show had the tag match. So if this was a non-title, it was just a bragging rights match. I'm okay with that. And Trish, this wasn't a WrestleMania, so she went out on her back. Like she took the loss for Charlotte.
Very poor choice of words.
There they are. They're out there. I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, we could. You want to transition? So we get
there was
the old guard.
Yeah, a bigger comeback, I'd say, as far as the contemporaries go, man. Sasha Banks back. She came out in a pink wig and gave.
She came out at a hell of a time.
What was the phrasing that she walked out to?
Well, it was Natty was reminiscing about her dream that she had about her father, and she never finished the story, but I'm gonna assume that her father was telling her, you did good last night, and I love you still. And right when she was about to burst into tears telling that story, which now we all know was all bullshit, Sasha came out, and I think I've been extremely critical of Sasha and her choice to take her bag and go home, which, I mean, if we look at all the decisions or all the instances that has happened in pro wrestling, even a guy like Stone Cold has turned around and said he regrets doing that for what I want to say. I guess, for the lack of a better way of putting it, that, it kind of looked childish to do it.
Right.
So I've been very critical of Sasha, but man, I did not mind having a Natalya promo end early. Holy shitballs, was that? That was like a rake to the ears.
Yeah.
God, every time she comes out, and it's silly. We're talking about Trish coming back because she's in Toronto. How about Natty getting a title shot just because it's in Canada? She's not from Toronto, so I just, those kind of things are always silly to me.
It was rough because it felt like some of this stuff had months to bloom, and this was something they kind of haphazardly, kind of slapped together.
It's a Kane versus Daniel Bryan after WrestleMania 30. Like, it's a feud, which direction it's gonna go, and strategically they pick Natty because you'll get some cheers at SummerSlam, which, of course, the fans are actually behind Natty, which just makes me lose all respect for Canadian pro wrestling fans.
And their ability to judge talent. Nah.
Yeah.
Sasha.
Yeah, all you gotta do is be from Canada, and all those horrible promos go right out the window.
Yeah, just hold a flag with a leaf on it. They'll love you. Sasha came out in a pink wig, gave a hug. Then she punched Natty, took her wig off, and she had blue hair. And then,
which means she's evil.
Yeah, blue is bad. And then, after watching poor Natty just get pummeled with kicks and punches, the man, Becky Lynch, ran out to save her opponent from the night before, to no avail, because Sasha pulled out a chair and bonked her on the back of the head.
Man, that was ugly.
AEW style. Boom!
So, for all the respect I had for Sasha, and all the goodwill for interrupting the Natty promo, it just goes right out the window, because it's like, Jesus Christ.
Did she have to do that night one?
Yeah,
we give her so much crap for being sloppy in that night one. Bang! Right in the back of the head. Sean Spears style.
Like, it's not... You can't twist that in any way for the hardcore wrestling fan. I mean, come on.
Well,
just be on your toes. It's your first night back.
I know.
Be ready for something like that to happen.
You can definitely blame Becky a little bit, because sometimes it depends on how you get up. Like, if they have the same.
Yeah, but you're holding the weapon.
I know. These things just always happen to Sasha. It's always. You and I aren't out there. We don't know how tough it is, but it's just like, God damn. Can you make the argument easier for us? That's what I'm asking. Make it easier for me to defend you.
Yeah, just to have, like, Paige in the back going, oh, man, that had to hurt. All right.
She's immediately inserted into a title match with Becky at, whatever the next pay-per-view is. Yeah. And I'm not upset with that. I think Sasha is. more equipped than most to like cut a good heel promo. I think she's kind of been on the stumbling a little bit because they had her as a squeaky clean babyface with Bayley when they were tag team together, and in between that, Sasha had some boo boos. So I feel like she's kind of been, kind of treading water for a little bit. But I think this is her meat and potatoes. I think she's much better as a heel. Like she was the one who, uh, in NXT kind of helped crown Bayley initially when, Sasha was the more obvious, bad guy. Um,
Well, let me ask you this. Was all this Sasha stuff, all these rumors about her leaving, was that true? Or was it all a big work? Did they fool us all?
yeah, I think that there's like a conspiracy theory. It's too tough to keep quiet. I think Sasha was legitimately a little upset about the way she was booked, and that she basically held the tag titles, for a cup of coffee. Um, so I think there was some truth to it. And then what WWE does is when those truths hit, they try to incorporate it into a storyline to save their own bacon. So
I'll
uh,
say if it is true, I just it'll be so hard for me to ever back her up. But I'm like, because this happened, because of the way that she came out, um for this, to take down Natty, and this whole idea that this is always going to follow her, that she was going to leave because she felt she deserved more, and like some fans don't like that.
yeah.
Now she's heel. Like it kind of feels like maybe none of it was true, and it was all this big work, which of course I would be a
Well,
much bigger fan of.
I
I just
I think it's
Yeah, go ahead.
interesting that as far as who she comes out to beat up first, Sasha's on the bench for months since WrestleMania. And she beats up Natty, who has been in every dog shit storyline like the women's division's ever had. Like Natty gets just, abused. She gets, treated like the Big Show. Heel face, heel face, heel face. No consistency. Whatever we need you to do, you're switching tonight. I mean, we just saw another example of it. Sunday she's a heel, Monday she's a face again. Uh, so it's just kind of weird to see Sasha, this character who we've seen, and potentially Sasha the person, just on social media, like I'm the butterfly. I'm gonna fly to greener flowers. Um, and then she comes out to beat up Natty, who has just swallowed her pride and done any and everything WWE's asked of her. And it's like you and I give Natty flack, right? And it's just because we're not huge fans of her promos. But as far as a worker, somebody who loves his business, like Sasha, that's who you should be. You don't always
Yeah,
get to be on top. I mean,
I mean, I think it's fair to say there's more than so. My
I
thing
just
with this
I
argument, because
hope
I
it
know
gets
where you're
addressed in the
going.
promos coming forward.
What?
I hope that in some capacity they find a smart way to address this dynamic in the promos going forward.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I think what we're probably gonna get a couple weeks of Natty, looking to fight Sasha. She gets destroyed, and Becky's gonna come out and interfere, or she'll just come out post match and she'll cut a promo. Something like that'll happen. My thing is that yes, I hate Natty. I don't like having Natty on my TV because she's not good at promos. I don't appreciate someone that thinks they're bigger than the business. But I don't want to say that those two things are like the only two options, because I think there's the good wrestler who can do promos that loves the business unconditionally. um I mean, that's what I love. I will say that I'm still gonna watch Sasha Banks in her matches, but to say that I respect her the same level that I respect somebody who wouldn't walk away from the business is a lie. Would be a lie on my part. So it is something that will stick in the back of my mind. And if I'm ever judging the greatest of all time, I'm guilty of doing this when I judge, like, we have our other show, the Brothers of Discussion Talk Hockey, which we'll talk about the Detroit Red Wings. There's guys on that team that are probably better than other people I give credit to, but because they left to other teams for more money, I feel like, no, that guy should never have his jersey retired. I mean, this is a long explanation for something that I think everybody was already on board with what I was saying, but I just, there's more than one variable to dissect, more than 2, more than 6 variables to figure out, like, how you want to appreciate someone, respect someone, have admiration for them, and love them.
Yeah.
And I just, there's things for Sasha that she keeps knocking herself down on. For Natty too, sure, she's great, and she'd be a great friend, have a great person to have on the show as a guest, because I'm sure she has some great stories. I don't know if she'd tell them very well, but you know what? That's a great point.
No,
I'm gonna say she's the kind of person that has great stories, but she has no idea how to tell them. So you're kind of like, well, I mean, do we really want to hear this? Because she's gonna do a lot of hemming and hawing.
Well, I like when we get the women with microphones, like Becky Lynch is, where the heck were ya? I was here the whole time, being the man, winning the titles, defending titles. Where were you, Sasha? And I really can't. I'm racking my brain. I don't know what Sasha could come up with. Like, I was biding my time. I don't have to be here. I'm the boss. So the boss shows up when she wants. And it's like, yeah, I get it, but you could have been showing up and getting title matches for yourself if you're really the boss, I don't know, beating up somebody with a broken arm. I don't know.
Right. You know what? You're right. Because if that is the storyline, that says right there that she doesn't care about the title or winning or, proving that she's the best. Which I think is what you want out of a character.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, we're going to find out, something on Monday, but it doesn't seem like an enviable spot for the writers. I mean, this one night is huge, and it for me, it felt a little rushed because she just came back and immediately, like, turned heel, and now she's got to explain, making sad faces on Instagram for 5 months.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What? That's the other thing. Like, do we give WWE enough credit? Like, where I'm hoping that it was all a work. Are we gonna give them the credit that for 5 months, like 5 months ago, they had this plan?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. Yeah. I mean, that's like it's like the Daniel Bryan thing. Oh, we knew. No, you did not. You bunch of fucking liars. You know what I do know is that next week, much to Xavier Woods' excitement and then chagrin, because he's not included, the King of the Ring tournament is back. I like this tournament. It's kind of weird though.
We like all tournaments. We've been asking for tournaments since the show started.
Young, tag team. The Dusty Rhodes Classic, Daddy. But yeah, man, I was, looking back, it has been a few years since we had one. It was, Bad News Barrett was, King Bad News Barrett or something in 2015. You had Sheamus, Regal, pretty late in his career too. It was like 09 or 08 for Regal. Booker T, Brock, Edge, Kurt Angle, Billy Gunn. Jesus, I'll give this King of the Ring. You know who he fought too? He fought X-Pac, was the runner-up.
Whoa,
yeah,
man. All right, yeah, no, this
Civil War
means
DX.
A ton.
Yeah. Shamrock, Triple H, of course. And then the greatest one of all time, Stone Cold, the one that launched him into the, Trish Stratosphere, if you will.
Yeah.
In 96. I still go back and watch that promo once in a while. I'm sure we all do.
I always like the Macho King. Because that was just
there's
so
some really
silly.
Weird ones, like Mabel. The guy he's just fat. That was his move. He was fat.
Hey, that's legitimate pro wrestling there.
Yep.
You can't lift the guy.
A lot
There's
of
no way you're gonna. Yeah. Well, I want to start
Tito, DiBiase, and Macho King, of course, and then we got a R.I.P. for Harley, and then Dean Morocco. I don't actually know his first name.
Let me ask you this, Mike. How important is it that this is not gimmicky.
How did I write Dean?
That
It's
this
Don
is
Morocco. What an embarrassment. Go ahead.
nobody cares. How important is it? How important is it that this is about pro wrestling and it's not gimmicky? Something that probably resulted in Mabel winning, or even go to Stone Cold beating up Jake the Snake. Like, there was still this silly story behind the victory. Like, how important is it for you, Mike, that this ends because of a great wrestling match? And, we'll just throw it out there. The matches from start to finish should be amazing, too.
How important is that? I think that's what we thought we were getting last year when they, and Shane started this whole best in the world. They had that mini tournament in Saudi Arabia, and we thought, is this our King of the Ring? But it didn't really get that label attached to it. I think that based on who's on this the card, which we were about to get into, I don't think we're going to get an instance where it's Billy Gunn versus X-Pac in the finals, or that it's going to be, the Mabel of 2019 winning. It looks like we've got some, legitimate grapplers out there, some real mat rats, if you will, except for the first name, of course, The Miz, Ricochet, Matt, your boy, Drew McIntyre. Don't call him Mustafa Ali. Kevin Owens, Chad Gable, freshly short-haired. Andrade, Shelton Benjamin. Who knows where he's looking? Sami Zayn, Cedric Alexander, Baron. I am not boring. Corbin. Apollo Crews is boring. And then Buddy Murphy, Cesaro, Elias, and rounding out the 16, Samoa Joe. I think this is a compelling tournament, Matt, because I could probably see like 4 or 5 guys winning it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we play? We all have like the same 2 guys who probably, like, off the top of our heads are like, these are the 2 guys that should win.
All right, Chad Gable and Ali. All right, so then after that, we got to pick who's number 3.
All right, so I think we all are looking at Andrade and Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Obviously, Drew McIntyre is the only name on my mind. When they announced it, before they even said he was in the tournament,
when you're making love
my
to your
immediate
wife,
reaction was, thank God. Thank God Drew McIntyre's going to have something he can win. But I don't know. The more I think about it, the more that this feels like it's going to somebody that still deserves it based on his crowd reactions. And I think will do a lot for legitimizing his ability in the ring, which he doesn't do a ton of. And that's Elias. I would say, after giving it some thought, obviously, when Drew McIntyre gets eliminated, I'm going to throw a huge hissy fit as if I had never even considered him losing. And I'm going to be pissed till the tournament's over and he gets his... If he ever gets a title shot, like, that'll be the length of time that I will still be angry. But, when I went through this list, you're not going to just give it to Sami Zayn. That's not what his character's about. He's going to be about being a douche and losing. Cedric's too new. So is Ali. He doesn't need this. Ricochet loves losing. The Miz is too big for this. But it's just, like, you go through this list, and you're right. There are a lot of guys that should, could, would win this, but it's Elias that is going to hold that scepter, wear the crown, and really own that title as King of the Ring. I think more than anybody else, especially, more than like a Samoa Joe who's just going to look doofy with his huge Samoan boobies hanging through his cape.
Well, I think immediately you take out half the field because, the names I read off: heel, 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 and then Bret Hart, Tito, heel, heel, heel. So you basically have all heels and then Bret Hart. Miz out, Ricochet out, Ali out, Kevin Owens out, Chad Gable out, Shelton Benjamin out.
And so many of these
Cedric
guys are going to have new feuds start because of this.
Apollo Crews out. I mean, it'd be cool to see like a Buddy Murphy or like a Cesaro, somebody like
Eh,
that who could use something to a
eh,
feather in the cap. But
eh. No, I'm going to be honest. Buddy Murphy would give me the hardest eye roll.
really,
I he should be in like an actual storyline. If he wins King of the Ring, it's gonna hit me too hard in regards to like pushing this guy, because I think he needs to get over through story. Not We know he's a good wrestler. He needs to prove that he can work promos and make a story legit, which he's doing a great job
yeah,
with working with Roman and Daniel and Rowan.
yeah.
Him winning King of the Ring, I don't think that's in the realm of legitimizing him.
I think
I don't know.
yeah. By that same token, that takes out Andrade because we already know he can wrestle.
You're right. And that's kind of where I started getting away from Drew McIntyre too.
I disagree because I feel like we've seen a lot of Drew as a sidekick to Dolph, as a sidekick to Shane. I think this would be his opportunity to prove, not only did he take out the Shield, but he can also take out Cedric Alexander.
But none of these guys on the list had, like, people were actually making up fake rumors that they were going to go up against Brock Lesnar, because none of them make sense. None of them would stand a chance against Brock, but Drew did. So in that vein, I'm saying that yes, we all recognize Andrade is an amazing talent, but I think if we're starting to make rumors about Drew McIntyre getting a push, within the last year, then I think people see his talent. And I think if everybody right away jumped up and said either Drew McIntyre or Andrade, I feel like they're on the same level. You know what, Mike? Go f*** yourself. Drew McIntyre is the greatest talent to ever hit the ring.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
I mean, to the WWE.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen, Mike, is he's going to go up against Cedric in either the first or second round, and Cedric's going to beat him.
I don't know why you wouldn't put Drew in the finals, like winning it all. I don't know. I can't talk myself. I like the Elias pick because as far as somebody wearing a crown, I don't even think Drew would do that. I think if anything, he would take a scepter and just hit people with it, or he'd give people he'd melt down some gold and pour it on his enemy's head. You
know what? Andrade would wear that crown. Drew would look ridiculous in that crown. That does not fit his character.
I don't think Stone Cold ever wore the crown.
Well, that's true.
That's why I think they're gonna update it. Like they're gonna do, like a scepter, something like that. Or if Elias ends up winning, he'll end up dressed up like Elvis, like the King, something goofy like that.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
That's an okay idea. That's
well,
fine.
As far as pretty good ideas go, Matt, we got to see how this tournament plays out. But I know you got a new game for us to play, and I want to make sure we have time for it because we're pushing 52 minutes here, bud.
Woo! All right, so we are playing Glow, or Superhero.
Yeah.
Mike, rules, I like to think, are pretty simple. What we're going to do here, you're going to get the name of either an original Glow character, a Netflix Glow character, which of course are all made up, or you're going to get an obscure female superhero name.
I didn't know they were going to be obscure superheroes. I thought it was going to be like Ant-Man.
Yep, and female. You nailed it.
Shoot. All right. Well, how many of these do you have queued up, Matt? If I get one right, do we just call it a day?
Yeah, we can do that if you want. You can tap out. I want to hear you tap out.
Okay. Matt, here we go. It's our first ever Glow or Superhero.
All right. I think I'm going to go easy on you here to get you started. Okay?
All right.
So I don't want to put too much pressure on it because when I do that, then I feel like I put you too far in one direction and you go against, what where you should go. I'm not going to give you Zoya the Destroyer.
All right.
But let's see if we can give you something that you might recognize. But I don't know. Let's jump in here. All right. First one, Mike. Mount Fiji. Is that an original Glow character, a Netflix Glow character, or a superhero?
That is an original Glow character.
Nice. Good
Yeah.
job, Mike. I mean, no background needed for me to explain. You got that correct. She is an original Glow character. Even has some characters that are based off her in the Netflix show.
Yeah, Machu Picchu.
All right, Mike, number 2. Renee Montoya.
Now,
Mike, is that an original Glow character, a Netflix Glow character, or a superhero?
Now, riddle me this, Matt. Renee Montoya. With these, if it's a superhero, are we doing this like Avengers Infinity War? Or is this like their superhero name? Or are you giving me potentially alter egos?
Mike, the superhero names that I am providing in this game are all based off the name that they would be called in a superhero battle, or like whatever they're known as. I don't know, how do I want to put this? Like what would their comic book name be?
Gotcha.
How's that?
Renee Montoya is one of the original Glow wrestlers.
Mike, Renee Montoya is what do I want to say here? So she is a superhero. Let me read the description I copied.
Who is Renee Montoya?
Okay, so this is a terrible description of Renee Montoya. It just says
wait a minute, she that cop from Batman?
No. She has no relation to Batman.
Renee Maria Montoya?
Correct.
Man, she's a cop from Batman.
No, I mean,
she's a trained detective. Her abilities, trained detective.
She's not. No, she's not. In DC Comics.
There's another.
She's
there's
not
two Renee Montoyas.
I guess so.
Man.
Anyway, moving on.
All right.
Well, hey, if you're saying, wait a minute. So you're saying you know who Renee Montoya is, but you got it wrong?
Yeah, because she's not a superhero. She doesn't have any powers. Unless you count trained detective as a superpower. But I'm thinking of the DC character, not the.
So let me get this straight.
Comics.
You don't think Batman's a superhero?
He's super rich.
Oh my god.
That's a power. Renee Montoya is a beat cop, man. She makes barely salary.
Let me pull this up.
She's like $21 an hour. That's not super. I mean, she could do like
she is
like a one room.
Yeah, she is in DC Comics. Yeah.
All right.
Well, you kind of ruined the game here by complaining so much, but no, I'm super excited to keep going. I'm super thrilled to give you the next name that you'll complain about.
Yeah, I want to complain. What do you got?
Jesus Christ. All right, Mike. Are they from the original Glow, Netflix Glow, or are they a superhero?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's give you Matilda the Hun.
Matilda the Hun is an original Glow cast member.
Yay! Mike got that one right, everybody.
Woo!
Let's see if he complains about it. Mike, you have any gripes about getting that one right?
I feel inconvenienced. Do you have an...
All right.
All right, let's do one more.
All right, here's the last one.
All right.
Polaris.
Now,
Polaris. Mike, is that an original Glow?
Now, some may
Netflix
say her name's
Glow.
Polaris. Others would say Polaris.
Oh, it's Polaris. Yeah, it's Polaris.
Polaris is a superhero.
Do you know who Polaris is?
I don't.
All right. Polaris is the daughter of Magneto.
Ah. Okay.
Just like Scarlet Witch.
Oh.
You want to do one more?
Known fact, Magneto was the Wilt Chamberlain of the mutant universe.
Because he has so many kids.
20,000 mistresses, Magneto. He was the master of magnetics, and he made the women gravitate to his dog. What else were you going to say about Polaris?
What was I going to say?
I thought you had a backstory for her.
No, just I already threw it out there.
What were her abilities?
I'm sure it has something to do with some
with poles.
sort of light and fiery
Oh.
aspect. I'm not really sure.
Well,
Mike, I didn't do the research into who these ladies are. I just know they're superheroes. Jesus, God, this is
what
the
year did they
worst game
debut in
we've
the
ever
comics,
played.
Matt? That's what
This
the
is
people
the
want to know.
worst game we've ever played. All right.
I enjoyed it because I actually won. I want more
Yeah.
of these. I have a chance in these. Oh yeah, we're cutting it close here. We're already at an hour. And I know at some point we want to actually finish and do like a glow review of the Netflix show because whoever I mean, if you love wrestling, you're gonna like Glow because it's almost like seeing how the sausage is made. I know it's all women, but you get to see how the sausage is made as far as producing a wrestling show. I think that's my favorite part of watching it.
Well, yeah, and they struggle mightily. Like this isn't the size of WWE in the Netflix show. They're bouncing between warehouses, and now they're out of a Vegas resort. So this upcoming season, I thoroughly enjoyed it. My favorite episodes are always the ones where they actually play out like an episode of Glow.
Yeah,
And you got a couple of them actually this season. So my two favorites are Freaky Tuesday, if anybody's watched it yet, and A Very Glow Christmas. Super fun. I also, if you're out there and you haven't watched it yet, look out for Outward Bound. That's a great episode too, with some fun character development, and I think all three of these are like the highest rated Glow episodes on IMDb, which is pretty much just taking everybody's critiques from or I should say reviews from critics is probably the better way to put that. But I don't know if you want me to go into what happens in those episodes, Mike, but it's going to spoil it for you.
I mean, because this week we had a lot to cover as far as we barely even glossed over Takeover.
Oh my God, I totally
we didn't
forgot.
even talk about Adam Cole and stuff. So I think we should probably dedicate a little more time to Glow because right now we're scrambling to get you guys onto whatever you're doing next year with just an hour dedicated to Brothers of Discussion. Do you want to try and
who
do
knows
Takeover
if it'll be an
and,
hour
call
after
it a
I
night, bud?
delete that? Yeah, sure. I was gonna say, who knows if it'll be an hour after I delete that game.
No, I mean, it feels like every Takeover we're calling it the best Takeover ever, and I think this one, bell to bell. Oof, I don't know if there's a bad match in the bunch. I mean, even the match I was not excited about was Io versus Candice. I think that was, a super compelling, interesting 20 minutes. But the best, easily, man, best show of the weekend was Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano bringing the house down for 60 minutes.
Yeah, I still don't understand people that like go against that being a fun match, or they say, "Oh, I fell asleep during it." Look, you can be exhausted because you watched 3 hours of wrestling, but if you're telling me that was a bad match, I don't know what the hell you look for anymore in pro wrestling. That was everything we wanted. There's all that, like, the desire to win that title. You don't... God damn it. You can't display it any, like, more genuine than when you're putting your own body on the line.
You want to hear a compliment? A lot of the times with matches, there's just so many of them. You want to go to YouTube and watch the highlights. I think that is one match in the future I will watch the full 60 minutes because the story they told from, a basic wrestling match that graduates into a street fight, that graduates into just a cage made of weapons. And the stakes that these guys were, willing to go to, the risks they were willing to go to just to hold the NXT, a piece of gold, maybe gold. It's probably metal with a little bit of gold shine on it that says NXT. The risks they were willing to put their bodies through to entertain us and win that belt. I want that full story. I would not be satisfied with the YouTube highlight.
Yeah, and everything that goes into that, I know part of the thing that'll go away for me is hoping that we were going to see Ciampa at the end of that. And,
I know,
and we didn't
I
get
wanted that too.
That was part of the excitement for that. you get through the first 2 falls, and that's what you're kind of waiting for.
Yeah.
But
and I think that's why they
even without
announced the
that,
cage a little bit earlier, probably than they intended.
Yeah, I think you had to, because you have it above the ring. People are going to take pictures of it. You can't really hide it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an obvious one, but also, like I think people were clamoring online about, Ciampa making a comeback, because he's starting to do autograph sessions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
He's still
he's going to be
he's
in.
still owed a rematch.
Yeah, he's going to be in Livonia soon.
I know, we got to go see him. But yeah, it was a good move to get Regal out there and be like, it will not be Tommaso Ciampa. That's not the third stipulation. But yeah, it was punishing stuff.
Well, I said myself on social media for all the followers out there, the 2 things I'm going to come back and watch. Like you said, you're going to go to the full 60 minutes and watch that match again.
Yeah.
It was the Fiend. It's not just that I'm going to remember it going into the end of this year. We're going to talk about it as match of the year or anything like that, which is going to be fun to figure out which Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano match was match of the year at the end of this year. But I mean, I said, and this was my compliment, was I said, I'm going to be thinking about this 10 years from now. Like these 2 events, Bray Wyatt coming out, I guarantee we're all still going to be thinking about 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And this Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, maybe the whole feud all together. Like, think about how it's kind of it was replacing the Tommaso Ciampa Gargano feud, like off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how great these 2 wrestlers are, and as performers, being able to set up promos and tell a story based on the characters they've already established. And just to run out there and get that all set up. You put on a 5-star match after WrestleMania. A couple months later, you put on another 5-star match. And then after SummerSlam, you're throwing out another 5-star match. Just...
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah. Sometimes it, you kind of, want to step back and, they had that whole storyline with Undisputed Era, leaving draped in gold, and collectively they only left with Adam Cole in gold. But watching Saturday night, it definitely looked like the rest of the Undisputed Era didn't win, because we need to get the rest of the talent over, because the members of Undisputed Era are so good, they don't need gold. Like, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish just put on a clinic, and the Street Profits are very good. Montez, you and I love him. He's a hell of an entertainer. But I just mean it's a wildly different sport watching those guys do tag team wrestling. All the strikes look violent. All the submission moves look like they put that extra oomph in them to make them hurt, or at least look like they hurt. And then, Roddy Strong going against, Pete Dunne and The Dream. Roddy didn't win, but I still think that he stood out the most in that match, because he was obliterating Velveteen Dream. Like, it looked like he was giving him receipts for all the, success and push that he's getting, because Roddy, he's not as gifted on the microphone. But man, is he talented at making a match look punishing. Like, this is not something anyone could do. This is a special kind of human being who can make violence that is not going to actually cripple you, make that kind of violence look excellent. And that's something Roddy did. So that's my other compliment, is how strong, even in defeat, Undisputed Era looked outside of Adam.
I agree.
Yeah,
no, that was a great match. There wasn't a ton.
No, the only
storyline.
The only poo-poo was I don't think Mia Yim and Shayna had a great match. I think Shayna did her best, but it still seems like they're still trying to figure out their women's division in NXT, because Mia looked a little green, just like Bianca Belair did when we saw her at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
You can see flashes, but she still looks a little tentative on offense, I'd say. Like, she doesn't want to hurt her opponent. And that's something that Undisputed Era that you never see hesitation. Like it looks like it's, really painful stuff that, I get remarketed now for wrestling schools, and I'm like, I don't know, watching Roderick Strong hit people, maybe this isn't for me. So, um, I don't know. I was thoroughly entertained for 3 hours, especially that last hour, and it's. I think you're right on the money. I would say that Bray Wyatt, like to sum up today's show, that Bray Wyatt entrance is like it's up there with Stone Cold's King of the Ring. It's something that I'm gonna think about and revisit. It's up there with like Mankind and Undertaker, just like incredible wrestling moments that when somebody asks, why do you watch wrestling? I'm going to show them this crazy shit, this, 3-minute entrance, and then, a match that ensued after. Collecting that with Takeover, this is one of the matches, what's one of the best matches, the past couple years. And I would say, man, look what these two guys, poured out for that crowd.
And we're really blessed right now with what we have in like NXT in the main event scene. I think an interesting thing to dissect. We all loved NXT. It'll be interesting to see where all these guys go moving forward with NXT moving on to Fox Sports for a 2-hour program. You got to fill out that roster. You can't put garbage on TV because then people aren't going to want to watch it. So, you got one thing with Gargano losing and doing the whole thank you kind of walk away from the ring. Fans going crazy. I think that'll be something that's the big takeaway. Like on top of the matches being amazing, I think it's just so hard to go into an NXT and be critical at this point. I think they've just been stellar every time, but it'll be interesting to see where the characters move.
Yeah, I mean, too. We had a couple tweets where we put something we were excited about, and people are like, "Yeah, well, what's the next step going to be?" And it's just like, on this weekend, with WWE Creative hitting so many home runs, we didn't even touch Seth Rollins defeating Brock Lesnar again, which that match got incredible pops for.
I kind of feel like it's like, and you're gonna be mad at me, but like the Brock Lesnar matches are definitely like a basketball game. Like you really just got to tune in for like the last quarter of it, and you'll get the gist of what was going on. But that's when the amazing things start to happen. Somebody hits a 3 at halftime. Who gives a crap? There's going to be another 50 3-pointers before the game's over. So if Seth Rollins goes through the table or Brock goes through the table at the beginning of the match, but we get to that end of the match and there's a bunch of finishers going back and forth and reversals and all the, almost 3 counts. Like that's that gold of Brock Lesnar. That's where he's still, he's still a big get. He's still the big show. for lack of a better phrase there.
Well, yeah, he's probably going to take a little break now for a pay-per-view or two, and I just wonder if he's going to be, he and Bray Wyatt are going to have similar TV appearances, just kind of a part-time thing to treat it like a special occasion, and I think that's best for both those guys probably.
Well, I don't know if we want Bray Wyatt skipping too many pay-per-views. I don't know if that's going to happen. If I just feel like the showing up on Monday and Tuesday might be less than a Shane McMahon.
All right. Well, we promised to do a shorter show. Let's try to beat an hour 15. Matt, remind the people, where can they find us?
We're at BOD Podcast for Twitter. You can find us the same way on Facebook, but please go to our Facebook group where we are doing live discussions. You can find it on the Facebook page, but just go ahead and find the Brothers of Discussion live wrestling discussion page. And, of course, BODpodcast.com and brothersofdiscussion.com is where you can really start and find everything. You can find the archived episodes and, of course, find all the links to our Facebook and Twitter. On top of that, if you could please go to wherever you are listening to this podcast and subscribe. What do you do?
Or follow
subscribe
on
or
Spotify.
favorite or follow.
Yep.
And review us, because every review we get, we're gonna get higher up in the algorithm. So that'll help us get more listeners, and eventually we'll have some sweet merch that everybody can buy, or you'll get for free if you're nice enough to us. So tell your friends, even if they don't listen, to go ahead and review us, and we'll have something to give back. But thank you very much, everybody.
Yep, we'll see you next week, and we're going to try and talk about Glow for real. All right, bye.
Bye.